Welcome, friends. I welcome all of you in this webinar at very short notice. And the intention in this webinar is to discuss the two judgments, rather two landmark judgments, which have been pronounced by the Honorable Delhi High Court yesterday, and a few notifications that the government has issued yesterday. So that is the intention of today's webinar. We'll be discussing what all has been the issues covered in those judgments and how these judgments are going to be effective in the long run, and what will be the repercussions of these judgments. So this is something that we are planning to discuss in this particular webinar, and I'll be requesting Gaurav bhai to start with his discussion, and then I'll join him.
As you say, Avinash bhai, I think the very specific reason of keeping this particular webinar at a very short notice was the gravity of the two judgments which came yesterday is huge. And how long will those particular judgments will travel? That is something to be examined. So for me, I will be covering the landmark judgment of brand equity treaties. And in the same petition, there were four petitioners, including Reliance Electrical Works. And then we will also understand the notifications which have been brought in yesterday. So friends, to begin with, I will start with the judgment of Honorable Delhi High Court, which was pronounced yesterday. It was reserved on 2nd of March. The hearing was concluded. And after a period of almost 2 months, the Honorable Delhi High Court has come out with this particular landmark judgment. The judgment, let me just brief you what exactly the judgment is. At the outset, there were four petitioners to this particular writ. So this was Brand Equity Treaties Limited, Micromax Informatics Limited, Developer Group India Private Limited, and Reliance Electric Works. All of them against Union of India and others, whereby they have, they have filed this particular writ for writ of mandamus, directing the respondent to permit the petitioner to avail the ITC of the accumulated credit as on 30th of June 2017 by filing of the Tran 1 beyond the period provided under the Central GST Rules 2017. अब दोस्तों उसके अंदर हुआ क्या, they have not filed their Tran 1 within the time frame given under the rules, which we all understand was given under Rule 117. Now, once the time limit has lapsed, again there were things which were relaxed by the government by introduction of a specific sub rule 1171A. Now that particular sub rule was brought in to provide that notwithstanding anything contained in sub rule 1, the commissioner may, on the recommendation of the council, extend the date for submitting the declaration, which was Tran 1, electronically by a period not further beyond 31st March 2020 in respect of registered person who could not submit the said declaration by the due date on account of, now comes the keyword, due date on account of technical difficulties on the common portal, and in respect of whom the council has made the recommendation for extension. Accordingly, friends, in this particular case, the whole case revolves around these two words. What do you mean by the on account of technical difficulties? So this is one of the main aspects of this particular judgment, and thereafter on the larger aspect, whether this particular input tax credit, whether this right is something which can be taken away by mere procedures from the SSC, that has also been examined by the Honorable Delhi High Court. Now, what exactly were the parties or the petitioners they were looking at? The learned counsels for the petitioners, and I am very glad to state that one of the the counsels who represented this case was Mr. Ruchir Bhatia. He has been standing, on representing government and SSC both in the different subjects for such a long time, and has delivered so many, has represented in so many landmark judgments, I would say. And this is also something which came out. There are new dimensions which came out in this particular judgment, which will travel, I can tell you, far beyond Tran 1. Now, what were the councils, what they said? Number one, that their particular case is squarely covered by the precedents. Prominent of them was AB Pal Electrical versus Union of India. उस जजमेंट में क्या कहा ऑनरेबल कोर्ट ने? उसमें ये कहा गया कि जीएसटीएन जो है अभी भी इट इज इनटू इट्स नेसेंट ट्रायल एंड एरर फेज, and petitioner, which are the SSCs, should not be made responsible, or they should not be made to suffer on account of inefficiency of the system of the respondent vis-a-vis the Union of India. Now you have a GSTN which is not working properly, there are glitches. If you have a glitch, the timelines are extended. If the SSCs are facing some problems, then timelines are not extended. तो एक्सटेंशन सिर्फ आपकी अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स की, क्योंकि आपने एक नया सिस्टम शुरू करा है, आप उसको दे सकते हैं एट योर कन्वीनियंस. बट if there are problems at the end of the assessee, those are being technically ignored, those are not being dwelled on. Second aspect which has been taken by the councils was the accumulated credit is the property of the assessee under article 300A of the constitution. Now this particular point has been very well dwelled in the earlier judgment of Siddhartha Enterprises also. I'll come to Siddhartha Enterprises a bit later, Honorable Gujarat High Court. But यहाँ पर उन्होंने कहा जो मेरा Senate credit है, that's my property, and therefore it is constitutionally protected by the Article 300A. Though Article 308 does not no longer remains a fundamental right, but still it remains a right under the Constitution. Now, third point which has been taken by the petitioners was that the time limit under 117 is merely a procedural timeline and it is not a mandatory timeline, and therefore the time period cannot be enforced to deprive the petitioner from their entitled credit, which was a credit which was on account of taxes paid under the earlier law. Second, after this, another point which came up was कि आपने एक सब रूल 1A निकाला है. सब रूल 1A जब आपने कहा कि there are technical difficulties on the common portal which were faced by the SSC, गवर्नमेंट ने ये रिलैक्सेशन उन सभी SSCs को दी है जिनको टेक्निकल डिफिकल्टीज फेस करनी पड़ी. द ओनली थिंग वाज इट वाज रिटन ऑन द कॉमन पोर्टल एंड इट हैज बीन रेड कि अगर आपको फाइलिंग में आप गए और आपको कोई भी तकलीफ आई तो आपको टाइम फ्रेम जो है 31 मार्च 2020 तक का दे दिया गया. बाकी सब लोगों के लिए वो टाइम फ्रेम एक्सटेंड नहीं किया गया था. जो टाइम फ्रेम लास्ट था वहीं तक दिसंबर 2017 तक ही रहा. In line of this, there was a SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, dated 12th of April 2018. वो GSTN ने issue किया था how to check whether someone has faced a technical difficulty or not. Now that was divided into two parts. One part was to be checked by the nodal officer and the other part was to be checked by the GSTN. Nodal officer will look into the case कि क्या वो फाइलिंग जब कर रहे थे उन्होंने क्या कोशिश करी, उसके अंदर क्या असेसी करना चाहता था, क्या उसका क्लेम लेजिटिमेट था. अगर ये चीजें उसकी ओके थी देन ही विल पास इट ऑन टू GSTN टू चेक, फर्दर चेक कि जो वो कह रहा है कि वाकई उसने जाकर पोर्टल पे लॉग इन किया, क्या वो वाकई किया, बिकॉज देयर आर लॉग्स व्हिच आर मेंटेन्ड बाय GSTN. तो वो एक SOP जो है गवर्नमेंट ने निकाला. CBEC ने रिसेंटली ऑन 4th of February 2020 wide the letter number 20 by 10 by 16 by 2018 उसने एक clarification issue करी to all its the authorities whereby they say कि सर आपने जो nodal officers ने, it has been seen that most of the cases has been duly accepted by the nodal officers and passed on to GSTN, and the ratio of clearance by the GSTN is very low, and therefore there were matters which have not been looked into by the nodal officer, meaning thereby कहीं ना कहीं CBEC ने again एक restraint दिखाया एक legitimate right को allow करने में to the SSC, and on what ground? Only on one single ground कि there was a ample, I'm underlining the word ample time period given to the assessee, which was starting from, if I'm not wrong, the date when this particular form Tran 1 got effected was somewhere in the end of August 2017, which is very much mentioned in the case of Vision Distributors, Delhi High Court. In that particular judgment, you will find that because this particular form came very late, the assessee was not able to take its credit and had to pay in cash. Now, I'm not going into that particular judgment. The whole point was from September, I would say, September, October, November, December. You got a form live on the portal whereby you have not been given any facility to upload the details via offline utility. सबसे पहली बात, आपको जो भी करना है सब कुछ पंच करना था, एक एक इनवॉइस आपको पंच करना था. So अगर suppose somebody has 1000 invoices on which he wants a claim, then he will have to punch each and every invoice himself individually. There was no offline utility available. Now, having said so, this was a humongous task which was to be done on the part of the SSC. First, they need to reconcile. The time frame given for a shift from the old regime to the new regime was also not, to a great extent available to the assessees, because country was at that particular time understanding this, very beautiful, but I am again saying new law. It is I would say drastic change. It has aligned us. It has made us better in indirect taxes in all perspectives. But it was also something very new for the SSC. Rather, it is new today also. और SSC को टाइम फ्रेम चाहिए था अपने आप को अडेप्ट करने के लिए, जो कि नहीं मिला. अगर GSTN को टाइम फ्रेम चाहिए था अडेप्ट करने के लिए और उसको नहीं मिला तो एक्सटेंशन ऑफ डेट्स आती गई. बट अगर SSCs को नहीं मिला तो उसमें उनके ऊपर उनके जो राइट्स थे इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर सनवेट क्रेडिट, in terms of their credit notes, all those things had to be suffered by the SSC. Now came the fundamental question, whether the government could curtail the accrued. Now this is a fundamental question after listening to the petitioner which the Honorable Court came to, whether the government could curtail the accrued and vested right and restrict it to 90 days by a subordinate legislation, meaning thereby the act. Now please understand, the act with provisions which have been examined by the Honorable Delhi High Court while delivering this particular judgment did not had the amended provision as brought in by Finance Act 2020. If you look into section 140, in section 141, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, पहले इन सभी सबसेक्शंस के अंदर आपकी टाइम लिमिट प्रिस्क्राइब नहीं थी. इन सबको अमेंड किया गया और इन सबको रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव अमेंड किया गया फ्रॉम 1st of July 2017 वाया फाइनेंस एक्ट 2020. नाउ 1st of July से अमेंडमेंट में क्या लाया गया, हर सब सेक्शन के अंदर स्पेसिफिक वर्ड्स इंट्रोड्यूस करे गए विद इन सच टाइम. पहले क्या था, विद इन सच मैनर, एज पर द मैनर प्रिस्क्राइब. नाउ विद इन सच टाइम एज मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब. So meaning thereby now the time which has been prescribed in the rules has been given a life by way of a retrospective amendment in the act by bringing in the words within the time prescribed. अब आप क्या ये जो आप retrospective amendment 2020 में लाया 17 के लिए एक postmortem activity के तौर पे, is it feasible? Now first of all let us understand before we go on to the conclusions as made by the Honorable Delhi High Court, what is input tax credit? Friends, input tax credit बहुत ही एक सेंसिटिव टॉपिक रहा है. क्या ये राइट, इट इज अ vested right or it is a accrued right or is it an absolute right? There are multiple terms which can be associated with this particular input tax credit. Now in landmark judgments, Honorable Supreme Court, I would refer to two judgments, Jayam and Company and ALD Automotive Limited. In both of them, it has been held that the grant of ITC cannot be sought for as a right by an assessee and no such right vests in an assessee. So where does it right come from? Now this particular judgment were also followed in Godrej and Boyce Manufacturing Company Limited, whereby this Honorable Court, again Honorable Supreme Court, in para 9, it was held that the appellant had no legal right to claim set-off of the purchases tax paid on by him within the state from the sale tax payable by him on the goods manufactured by him. It is only by the virtue of the provisions that he is entitled to set off. Now what is the whole discussion all about? ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि ये कोई राइट ऐसा नहीं है जो आप जाकर खुद अपने हक के तौर पे मांग सकते हैं कि ये होना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं. बट अगर ये है, मीनिंग देयर बाय इफ योर law provides for a particular right for you, then in that particular case, that particular right will become a vested right with the assessee. So assessee cannot manufacture a right, but if a right is available, then that particular right vests with the assessee, and that can only be done as per the scheme of the act. Now, once the right is acquired, the whole point is once the act is acquired, when that right is acquired, then it cannot be denied also. That is again the full bench of Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Eicher Motors and another versus Union of India. It was a trite law which was established and it was followed in a number of cases. Again, in Semtel India Limited, Honorable Supreme Court held that the right of to credit accrued to an assessee on the date the tax on the inputs was paid. Similarly, in other judgments also, when the excise law was there, when the inputs were brought in into the factory of the assessee, that was a time when it was said that the right has now been vested in the assessee. तो किस चीज का आपको इनपुट टैक्स मिलेगा, कब मिलेगा, ये दो चीजें अगर एस्टैब्लिश हो जाती है, जैसे हम लेवी में कहते हैं यू हैव टू प्रूव टू थिंग्स, नंबर वन द चार्ज and the collection mechanism. Similarly, in the input tax credit, there has to be two events. Number one, what, and number two, when. क्या क्रेडिट मिलेगा और कब मिलेगा. बट जब ये दोनों कंडीशंस आपके अंदर वेस्ट हो गई, then there cannot be any procedural minuscule things which can stop you from taking that particular credit. Now, moving on with this particular understanding, I would first refer to the judgment of Honorable Gujarat High Court in Siddhartha Enterprises, though Avinash Bhai will update on the exact status, but to my humble opinion, it is still under review. No decision as of yet. Avinash Bhai,
No,
you want to add something?
Review has been done and it is upheld.
It has been sustained.
Yes, yes.
Fine. So it has been upheld. Fantastic, sir. So we go with that particular decision. Now, Siddhartha Enterprises is the most beautiful judgment which has been written in post GST in terms of Tran 1 or the transitional credit. What are the fundamental points on which the credit was allowed? Number one, arbitrary, irrational, and unreasonable to discriminate in terms of time limit to allow the availment of ITC with respect to purchase of goods made in the pre and post GST regime. Such particular provisions will be violative of Article 14 of the Constitution. Meaning thereby, आपने pre और post regime GST regime में अगर आपने differentiated provisions बना दिए credit के, then in that particular case you will not find support, and that particular input tax credit will be available to the assessee. Number two, right to carry forward is a right or privilege acquired and accrued under the earlier act and has been saved by the saving provisions under the GST Act, and therefore it cannot be allowed to be lapsed under Rule 117. Now, your act, earlier act has given that input tax credit to you, and this particular act saving clause, because what does the saving clause say? Any right, obligation which has been accrued in the earlier law will be sustained in this particular law. So that particular right now vests with you, and therefore it cannot be taken away. Now please underline merely by a rule. Third, Senate credit earned under the erstwhile law, being the property of the assessee, cannot be appropriated on mere failure to file declaration in absence of law. Now please understand, act में कोई provision नहीं था, rules में provision लाए गए और उस कारण उसमें कहा गया कि भाई आप जो सेनरेट क्रेडिट है जो पुराने आपके erstwhile law का है वो लैप्स कर दिया जाएगा. Next, what Gujarat High Court say? Liability to pay GST on the sale of stock carry forward from the previous tax regime without corresponding input tax will lead to double taxation. आपने स्टॉक को जब बेचा तो जीएसटी मांग लिया, पर स्टॉक का आपने आईटीसी नहीं दिया, तो आपने क्या करा? पहले खरीद पे टैक्स ले लिया, फिर आपने बेच पे टैक्स ले लिया, और देन यू से इट इज अ वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स regime. Sorry, sir. The very preamble of GST is based on two things. Number one, it's a value added taxation. Number two, it allows a seamless credit to the assessee. तो अगर ये चीज नहीं है, then we are missing the very soul of GST. Coming on to the last observation made by the Honorable Gujarat High Court, government should have provided it for in the act and not have taken it by the virtue of merely framing the rules in this regard. Now, This particular judgment was passed at a time when this Finance Act 2020 had not made that retrospective inclusion of the time limit in the act. Now question will come that whether this retrospective amendment can take away the rights which has been conferred by the so many landmark judgments under the GST. But before that, let me first conclude what Honorable Delhi High Court in yesterday's brand equity Reliance Electric decision, what does it say? Now, having heard and deliberating on the fundamental question that whether that particular vested right, accrued and vested right, can it be restricted by 90 days? Now, what does the Honorable Delhi High Court observe? That their manner and procedure to carry out forward the Senate credit under section 141 was to be prescribed. Now that manner was prescribed and 117 was only to provide the manner. कैसे लेना है, क्या लेना है, कब लेना है, वो that is to be provided by 140. कैसे लेना है, that is to be provided by 117. There is no other provision in the act prescribing time limit for the transition of Senate credit, and the same has been introduced by way of Rule 117. Again, it is entire decision presumes, please understand, जो अमेंडमेंट है वो इस डिसीजन के अंदर फैक्टर नहीं करी गई है. तो वो एक अमेंडमेंट जो है जब गवर्नमेंट अब ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने जब फाइल करेगी इसके अगेंस्ट एक अपील, देन इन दैट एसएलपी जब फाइल होगी, देन दिस पॉइंट विल डेफिनेटली बी टेकन अप कि द अमेंडमेंट व्हिच हैज ब्रॉट इन द टाइम लिमिट रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली, and therefore now the rule is substantiated or it is having the powers conferred under the act. So friends, what will happen? The Honorable Supreme Court will then be standing on the question, can this retrospective time limit conference be given by the law? Because reason being, दिसंबर 2017 तक जब तक हम ट्रान 1 फाइल कर सकते थे तब तक ये कानून था ही नहीं. तो जब वो कानून दिसंबर 17 तक नहीं था, तो जिस व्यक्ति ने जून 18 में फाइल करा तब भी ये कानून नहीं था, जिसने दिसंबर 19 में किया तब भी ये कानून नहीं था. तो सर क्या ये कानून केवल उसी पे एप्लीकेबल होगा जिसने आफ्टर द एनेक्टमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंस एक्ट 2020 फाइल करा है ट्रान 1? दैट इज अ बिग क्वेश्चन. नाउ दैट इज वन बिग क्वेश्चन. रीजन बीइंग, जिन असेसीज को कोई मौका मिला ही नहीं ट्रान 1 फाइल करने का, वो असेसीज in absentia of a mechanism again will go to the court of law stating that, my lord, we wanted to claim but we never had a chance to claim this particular credit, and therefore a special window should also be given to me. Now this particular judgment, the yesterday's Honorable Delhi High Court judgment, finally concluded what? We however do not concur with the understanding technical difficulty on the common portal is only limited to the technical glitches being faced by the SSC in terms of common portal. The term technical difficulty is too broad a term and cannot have a narrow interpretation or application. It would include within its purview any technical difficulty faced by the assessee as well, which could be result of respondents' follies, which is the any legal, any common portal, any understanding clarities, all of them will be covered within this particular term called technical difficulty. Just like respondent, even the taxpayer required time. Now, as Union of India required time to adapt itself, the Honorable Delhi High Court says आपके assessees को भी time चाहिए था adapt होने के लिए. Again, they are going back to the very statement that GSTN is into its nascent stages and into its trial and error mode. Petitioners who at large are mega corporation, despite the aid of experts, could not collate the humongous data required for submission of statutory form. That is one factor again which I have stated in the beginning. The phrase technical difficulty is being given a very restrictive meaning. Conscious of the circumstances that are prevailing, we feel that the taxpayers cannot be, now please see the word which has been used by Honorable Delhi High Court, cannot be robbed. Now it's a very, very strong word. The Honorable Delhi High Court said you cannot rob the assessee of their valuable rights. Sir, आप उनको curtail भी नहीं कह रहे, आप उनको rob word कह रहे हैं as if गवर्नमेंट अब छीन रही है कोई राइट. Now this is a very strong statement from the court, and therefore I think government has to be sensitive, and there has to be an equity, a par, that if there can be a technical glitch on their part, there can be also technical difficulties on the part of the SSC. I would now come down to a very new observation which was made by the court. We feel that taxpayers cannot be robbed of their valuable rights on an unreasonable and unfounded basis of them not having filed Tran 1 within 90 days, when civil rights can be enforced within a period of 3 years from the date of commencement of limitation under the Limitation Act 1963. Now this entire concept of input tax credit has been linked to the Limitation Act. Again, the questions will come: can the time limits which have been provided in a particular statute retrospectively, underline the word retrospectively for this particular point, can those particular rights now be seen only with perspective of Limitation Act? Sir, again courts will tell this, but Honorable Delhi High Court said आपको 117 का टाइम लिमिट नहीं फॉलो करना. आपके पास जो टाइम लिमिट दिया गया है वो लिमिटेशन एक्ट के तहत जो 3 साल का है, वो क्या है, जहां तक आपका राइट जो एक्रू हो रहा है वो अगर आप 3 साल के अंदर either you file a suit or an application, that particular right will then be vested in you. तो वो टाइम लिमिट कब खत्म हो रही है? वो टाइम लिमिट खत्म हो रही है 30 जून 2020 को, क्योंकि your GST Act came into force on 1st of July 2017. It would be an erroneous approach to attach undue importance to the concept of technical glitch only to which it occurs on the common portal as a precondition. The purpose of Subrule 1A has been introduced, has to be understood in the right perspective by focusing on the purpose which is intended to be served. And that particular purpose was to save and protect the right of a taxpayer to avail the Senate credit lying in their account. So, sir, again, the only point which Honorable Delhi High Court is saying कि अगर वो जो राइट जो क्रेडिट उनके पास वेस्ट हो गया था, वो एक रूल, एक प्रोसीजर के कारण आप उसको नहीं रोक सकते, आपको जो है वो राइट उसको देना पड़ेगा. वो टाइम लिमिट जो है वो रूल 117 नहीं डिसाइड करेगा. मोर सो, आई एम अगेन सेइंग, इन एब्सेंशिया ऑफ एनी प्रोविजंस इन द एक्ट which has now been brought in, so that has not been tested in this judgment. But this judgment says क्योंकि एक्ट में कुछ ऐसा नहीं है, therefore this particular rule is a mere procedural law, and procedural law is not to be a tyrant but a servant, not an obstruction but an aid to justice. That is a, again in para 21 they have just reiterated the trite law laid by the Honorable Supreme Court in Salem Advocate Bar Association. In absence of consequences being provided under section 140, rule 117 has to be read and understood as only directory and not mandatory. Now friends, आपके पास आपका राइट आफ्टर दिस ऑनरेबल दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट जजमेंट खुला है 30 जून तक अपने क्रेडिट को, अपने आईटीसी को लेने का. अब इस जजमेंट की कुछ पिक्यूलियर चीजें, अब हमने ये भी समझ लिया हमारा राइट क्या है, सेंसिटिविटीज क्या है, हमने ये भी देख लिया कि ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने जब ये जाएगा तो वहां पर ये जो एक्ट के अंदर अमेंडमेंट आई है ये भी देखी जाएगी. इसके अलावा व्हाट आर द इम्प्लीकेशंस व्हिच वी लुक इनटू इट. नंबर 1, सबसे पहला काम सबने क्या करना है, क्योंकि दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने एक लिमिटेशन एक्ट की इवोक कर दी है, तो 30 जून की डेट सबको दिख रही है. आपको अगर कॉमन पोर्टल के ऊपर एप्लीकेशन फाइल करने का सिस्टम नहीं मिलता विद इन दिस टाइम फ्रेम, एक मैनुअल एप्लीकेशन विच कैन गो आइदर बाय मेल or by speed post should reach your jurisdictional officer before 30th of June 2020 in case you have not filed Tran 1. I would also further add, even if you have filed a Tran 1 and you have not made a valid claim completely, आपसे कुछ छूट गया है, आप प्लीज उसको भी अपने क्लेम को by way of a letter आप प्लीज फाइल कर दीजिए, because we are talking about a substantive right, we are not talking about a restrictive right. Number 3, आपने अगर कोई भी टैक्स, आपने कोई भी डिटेल सर्व करी थी बट उसमें कोई भी गलती थी, अगेन उसकी रेमेडी बाय वे ऑफ अ लेटर प्लीज फाइल कर दीजिए, बिकॉज अभी भी वो विंडो आपके लिए ओपन है. आप अपनी करेक्शन कोई भी कर सकते हैं. रीजन बीइंग, ठीक है आपने एक फॉर्म फाइल किया, बट इफ यू sue moto, come out with clean hands before the department, courts will come to your rescue for sure, because we are talking about a substantive right. We are not talking about a procedural gain by the SSC on some part. Next, very very important, जो restriction post GST era 1.5 साल तक की, meaning thereby up to September of next year, to claim a ITC on the purchase of inputs and input services or capital goods made by the SSC, जो वो restriction है, क्या वो restriction in judgment के बाद does it needs a re-examination, meaning thereby I have paid a tax on my purchase, will that particular tax can be restricted in any manner if it is a bona fide, correct, paid to the supplier, a tax which has been duly discharged by me to my supplier, क्या मेरे claim miss करने से वो रुक सकता है? That is again one thing which will be tested. However, the restriction herein is provided within the statute, unlike section 140 which was under examination under this particular case, and therefore the straight application of Limitation Act will not come to your rescue. Number two, having said so, when will be the ITC set to vest or accrue with the SSC? It will be set to vest or accrue to the SSC when he has paid the requisite tax and has completed all the requisites of section 16 subsection 2 by filing the return. Now that particular claim, if even if it has been missed, to my humble opinion, looking into the kind of judgments which we are having, more particularly Siddhartha Enterprises and Brand Equity Treaties or Reliance Electric, because there are 4 petitioners here, as you call it, you have to look it from a broader perspective. आपने एक स्टॉक खरीदा, वो स्टॉक आपका 2 साल के बाद बिका, आईटीसी आपने रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर दिया, बट जब वो बिक रहा है तो आप उसका जीएसटी दोबारा मांग रहे हैं. तो जो आपकी स्पिरिट थी पूरे जीएसटी लॉ की, कि ये जो एक एक्ट है ये एक सीमलेस एक्ट है, ये क्रेडिट आपका सीमलेस फ्लो करेगा, ये इट विल नॉट लीड टू डबल टैक्सेशन. सर अगर कोई बहुत ज्यादा, देयर आर कंडीशंस एंड कंडीशंस, आई एम रेफरिंग टू अगेन ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट केदारनाथ डिसीजन, there are conditions and conditions and conditions, some are procedural, some are substantive. Procedural conditions will not restrict a right which is accrued and vested in the SSC. Substantial will, क्या आपने परचेज करी थी, क्या सामान आपके पास आया था, क्या आपने पेमेंट कर दी थी अपने सप्लायर को, मीनिंग देयर बाय क्या टैक्सेस गवर्नमेंट तक पहुंच गए थे थ्रू डायरेक्टली और थ्रू द एजेंट विच इज द सप्लायर, कॉर्पोरेशन बैंक, ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट. Now, looking into all these things, you have to be very, very clear that this particular right, once it vests with the SSC, mere procedures will not take away this particular right from the SSC. And again, we have to live with the one line which Honorable Delhi High Court has said, even though this is a vested and accrued right, it is absolute in terms once it is accrued. But to make a claim, there has to be a time limit, and the Honorable Delhi High Court has resorted to Limitation Act. So that particular thing is yet to be tested in your normal ITC also. But to my humble opinion, yes, looking into the erstwhile decision, the time limit up to September should be looked upon as a procedural. And if somebody has forgotten, more particularly in the initial period, 2017, 18, 18, 19, and I would say 19, 20 also, you please try to avail that particular credit, but under intimation to your jurisdictional officer. If you think there are perils, meaning thereby आपके ऊपर कल को इंटरेस्ट और पेनल्टी तो आ नहीं सकती once you have declared it to the department, इंटरेस्ट लायबिलिटी अगर रिवर्स करना पड़ा तो आएगी, वो भी अगर आप चाहें और इसको अगर आप अनयूटिलाइज रख दें, एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर फैक्ट इज स्टेटेड टू योर jurisdictional officer, then till that pendency of the matter, there cannot be any interest liability also on you, because you have not utilized that particular ITC. So this was all about the first judgment which I wanted to say in light of the Tran credit, in light of the current credit. The second judgment, Bharti Airtel, again Avinash Bhai will take it up along with Now, in terms of the notifications, Avinash bhai, you want to cover up them up, or should I? It's a very
You
quick
continue. You
one.
continue. Yeah, you cover it
So I'll just,
as soon as possible.
so the small point which I would like to make on the notifications which came yesterday. Again, uh, time limits are being extended because of this COVID period. Surprisingly, at the outset, I would say, to my surprise, no relaxation in terms of interest was given for non-filing of 3B. किसी के दफ्तर खुले नहीं हैं, लिमिटेड मूवेबिलिटी है. आई वॉज वेरी होपफुल कि गवर्नमेंट जो है इंटरेस्ट को, ड्यू डेट तो उन्होंने बढ़ाई नहीं थी 3B की पहले भी, इंटरेस्ट को मई एंड तक रिलैक्स कर देगी. I don't know why we are looking at recovering the interest when people are not in the position to pay even the principal. जो salaries तक नहीं pay कर पा रहे, how can we expect them to pay the taxes? And it's a big arbitrage, sir. Believe it or not, first the person will sustain his business, and you will find, आपने अगर cases देखे होंगे, मैन पावर सप्लाई, डेटा प्रोसेसिंग, ये सब बहुत थिन मार्जिन पे काम करता है. और इनके साथ चैलेंज क्या आता है, इनका जो रिसीवेबल पीरियड होता है बड़ा होता है, सैलरी इनको आउटराइटली देनी होती है. दे आर मैन पावर ड्रिवन यूनिट्स. सो इन केसेस में सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज, गवर्नमेंट ने पिछले लॉ में भी और करंट लॉ में भी इसको रिवर्स चार्ज में कन्वर्ट किया था, जस्ट बिकॉज ये इंडस्ट्रीज अपने पैसे को, टैक्स के पैसे को यूजुअली वेजेस में और सैलरीज में दे देती थी. नाउ इन द करंट सिनेरियो, the entire industry has got converted into this particular problem. अब अगर इस period में, rather than incentive or a package as other countries are giving, if they are being forced to pay interest, I think there will be definitely a financial problem, grave financial problem which might come. I think to this extent also, कल के notifications में ये relief नहीं था. We should all urge the government, sir, kindly please look into it. Offices अभी खुले नहीं हैं, रिकवरीज होनी नहीं है, आपको इंटरेस्ट एटलीस्ट वेव कर देना चाहिए. रादर आई वुड पुट इट द अदर वे, इफ देयर आर असेसीज हु कैन पे अर्ली, प्लीज इंसेंटिवाइज देम, मेक इट द अदर वे. बिकॉज आज एफडी का रेट गिर गया है, आप उनको इंसेंटिव दे दीजिए 2% का, दे विल बी हैप्पी टू प्रीपे देयर टैक्सेस रादर देन पीनलाइजिंग दोज हु आर लेट इन डिपॉजिटिंग देयर टैक्सेस. उनको थोड़ा सा रिलैक्सेशन दीजिए. यस, taxes has to be paid. I am not saying we are going for a subsidy in taxes. वो तो एक बहुत ही गलत कल्चर हो जाएगा. Taxes has to be paid because indirect tax, unlike direct tax, indirect tax you have already collected from someone else. What relief maximum, which maximum people are saying, sir अगर हमारा कोई bad debt हो जाता है तो उस पे आप हमसे टैक्स मत मांगिए, which I think is under consideration with the government. But अगर आपने किसी से टैक्स कलेक्ट कर लिया, you cannot, in indirect taxes you cannot claim कि साहब मेरे को उसकी सब्सिडी दे दीजिए, वो पैसा तो खत्म हो गया. So don't live with that thought. Now, what is the relief which has come yesterday? Number one, all the companies can file their returns through EBC. 3B जो return आपकी GST 3B है, you can file the return. Companies can only file it through digital signature, but आज की डेट में employee कहीं और है, digital signature कहीं और है. मेरी humble request रहेगी, use the EBC facility. Don't use the digital signature unless the digital signature and the person, both of them are together at one place. नहीं तो साइन किसने की है वो you have to explain tomorrow. Number two, facility of nil filing through SMS has been allowed from the date to be notified, वो because that facility may be under development. Now under notification number 39, there was a special procedure for corporate debtor undergoing the corporate insolvency resolution process. At the outset, let me also share that I have my different opinion than the process which has been adopted by the government in this particular registration. To my humble opinion, that IRP is not supposed to take any registration, but since that process is there, I'm not going into it. The date which was required, whereby the IRP was required to be registered within 30 days, has been extended for the current time frame. Notification number 40, it has extended the validity of e-way bills till 31st of May 2020 for those e-way bill. Now please understand, which have expired during the period 20th of March to 15th of April 2020 and were generated till 24th of March 2020. Now friends, जो भी इस फ्रेम में टाइम फ्रेम के अंदर एक्सपायर हुए हैं उन सबको एक्सटेंड कर दिया गया है अप टू 31st of May. Now tell me friends, what happens to all those which are expiring after 15th of April? Are we presuming that those have reached the destination और उससे पहले जो ट्रक निकले थे वो नहीं पहुंचे? I don't agree with that कि जो ट्रक जिसकी एक्सपायरी हुई बिल की 14 अप्रैल थी वो अभी तक नहीं पहुंच पाया, उसका एक्सटेंड कर दीजिए, बट जिसकी एक्सपायरी 5 मई थी वो ट्रक पहुंच चुका होगा अपनी जगह पे. सो देयर इज सम, आई थिंक, reconsideration of this notification number 40 required. Notification number 41 extend the due date of furnishing of annual return and audit till 30th of September 2020. Again, there was a big smile also and a frown also parallelly on every professional yesterday. Smile because 30th June tak they knew they cannot do it. Relax. Frown because they know this is a date parallel to the income tax return and audit date, and therefore two big compliances cannot be completed within one particular date. Again, everybody is looking towards government ki sir, please be a bit considerate. Please do not put too heavy compliances on a single date. Next, notification number 42. Now, this is very limited for JNK and Ladakh, and it has provided the time limits for filing of the return. So, key takeaways from yesterday's notification: number one, no relaxation in interest. Number two, e-way bills expiring between 20th of March and 15th of April. Their date has been extended, validity has been extended to 31st of May. Third, due date of furnishing the annual return and audit for financial year 18-19 has been extended till 30th of September, wide notification number 41 by 2020. So these were primarily the big changes which came yesterday. Now request Avinash Bhai to take the second case and the things forward, sir.
Sure, sir. First and foremost, I would like to add जो आपने बताया कि government should like they should incentivize. That is your suggestion. But I was expecting that there will be some relaxation in the rates of tax also. But unfortunately, जो हम देख रहे हैं last 2 दिन से that they have increased the petrol and diesel और जो कर रहे हैं, so they are more focusing on rather on saving the lives and helping the poor and lower middle class. They are more inclined toward the loss of revenue. Anyways,
Avinash Bhai, just one more thing. Without a financial security, there cannot be a security to life also.
correct, I understand.
So, जहाँ पे
But what
focus
about
है,
what
वो
about the
focus.
funds that has already been anyways, this is a point of debate. It will take a lot of time, so let me just start with the
Sure,
another case
please.
law, which is Bharti Airtel. That is one of the, I would say, again a very welcome judgment, as the judgment of Tran 1, which is like just now discussed by with all of you by Gaurav bhai. See, first and foremost, I am very happy because these were few issues which were before the challenge or before were under challenge before the various courts. 16-4, so I get a liberty now that I may get a favorable order in that also. But this case, Bharti Airtel Limited, अगर मैं आपको sum and substance बताऊं तो it is pertaining to a circular which is 26/26/2017. It was a circular which was issued, which was just mentioning that there was an earlier circular number 7/7/2017, wherein the entire procedure for reconciliation was given. And friends, you all will appreciate that GSTR 3B was introduced as a, not as a return, but I would say एक temporary return की तरह से लेके आए थे. That was introduced as a temporary return, not as a full-fledged return. Wherein when we read the specific provision of the law, the specific provision of the law was providing that there will be an outward supply return or a statement which will be filed. Then on the basis of that, there will be another document which will get generated, that is GSTR 2A, from which the recipient can tally all his receipts, and in case there is any issue, then there were options given: alter, modify, delete. Then all those options can be exercised. Once those options are exercised, then it will again go back to the supplier. Once it is again going back to the supplier, then the supplier may accept or reject. So ये पूरा एक concept था. That concept was perceived and it was written in the law very clearly between section 37 to section 43. Now what has happened was that once GST was implemented वो एक half hearted approach था या because of the lack of preparedness, whatsoever may be the reason, but somehow GSTR 2 and GSTR 3 can never see the light of the day, और वो कभी भी आ ही नहीं पाए. But prior to that, they've issued a circular that was 7/7 2017. उस सर्कुलर में उन्होंने ऐसा लिखा था कि you will be filing for July, August. These are the 2 months for which we are coming out with a temporary return, and those returns are to be filed in lieu of GSTR 3. And then the law was amended, the rule was amended 61(5) from retrospective date from 1st July 2017. Then it was said that in case there is delay or extension, there is extension in the due date of filing of GSTR 1 and 2, then in that case you have to file, or you can file GSTR 3B. And then finally rule 61 sub rule 6 was there, which was speaking about the reconciliation part, and that circular 7/7 of 2017 was also providing the same thing कि एक बार आप 3B भरेंगे, GSTR 1 भरेंगे, GSTR 2 भरेंगे, उसको वो reconcile करेगा automatically, and if there is any difference that needs to be resolved, within the same month's GSTR 3. That was what was written in that particular circular. But they came out with another circular 26/2017, which is under challenge, or which was basically challenged in this particular judgment, that is Bharti Airtel Limited. And what they have said that in that circular they have kept the procedure or the explanation or clarification in 7/7, wherein they have clarified that it needs to be resolved, the mismatch needs to be resolved within the same periods GSTR 3 was kept in abeyance. So what was the purpose of having such abeyance clause? Whether there was any provision in the law. So that was observed by the Honorable Delhi High Court, and finally the Delhi High Court have taken into cognizance many provisions of the law. It has taken into cognizance the provision of Rule 61 Sub Rule 5, wherein it was specifically written that this is merely a return which can be filed on the basis of the due dates being extended for GSTR 1 and 2. And then after the arguments which were placed before the Honorable Court, that there is no procedure, no provision envisaging such a situation wherein the mismatch can be resolved in next month. It has to be resolved within the same period. That is what is written in the law, section 37, 38, 39. The same provision is still being continued by the statute, and therefore the circular or any rule cannot take away that particular provision which is written in the statute. So that is something which was observed very short and sweet. I am just mentioning this sum and substance of this judgment, that still now the doors are open, and मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इससे काफी सारे और doors खुल गए हैं, because now the court have said the fact of the case was that Bharti Airtel Limited, they were not in a position to what I can say, calculate the input tax credits which was available to them for the months July, August, and September. July, August, and September 2017, they were not in a position to calculate it. So what they've done, they've estimated the input tax credit, and accordingly they have filed GSTR 3B. And at the time, let's say, because GSTR 2A जो first day से आ जाना चाहिए था, depending on the scheme of the law, section 37, 38 के साथ अगर हम देखते हैं, so it must have came from the very first day of the implementation of GST. That was, I think, in somewhere October or November 2017. So because of that, the allegation or the contention which the petitioner had was that if there had been the GSTR 2A from the very first day, I would be able to calculate my input tax credits correctly. But because of that, I had to go for an estimation, and the actual and the estimated was making a difference of 923 crores. There was a difference of 923 crores which I have paid through cash. So now this was a cash which was excess paid, and I need to adjust this as per the scheme of this law within the same period. Law ये बोलता है, या 26 नंबर का सर्कुलर ये बोलता है कि आप बाद में उसको एडजस्ट कर लीजिए. बट व्हाट विल हैपन इन अ केस wherein I do not have any turnover, or I have a turnover or a let's say lower margin, क्योंकि उनका ऐसा भी कहना है कि 2017 के बाद उनका मार्जिन कम होता गया, और इनपुट्स तो एज इट इज थे, तो एक्यूमुलेशन तो बढ़ता जाएगा लेकिन मार्जिन उनका नहीं रहेगा. तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द आउटपुट लायबिलिटी विल नॉट बी इन अ पोजीशन टू ईट अवे the entire 923 crores. So that was again the question which they posed before the honorable court, and this gives me a very क्या बोल सकते हैं, एक मेरे को बहुत खुशी दिया इसको, बिकॉज 36(4) भी ऐसा ही कुछ है, रूल 36(4). वहां पे भी अगर मैं इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी में कवर्ड हूँ, तो आप मेरे से पहले टैक्स ले लेते हो, पूरा टैक्स लेते हो, और बाद में बोलते हो आप 3 महीने के बाद उसको आप एडजस्ट कर लीजिएगा, क्रेडिट दिखा दीजिएगा. तो somehow I feel that some relaxation can be, or some argument can be developed in that line also. But anyways, coming back to this, so that was the principal argument, that had it been available on first day of July 2017, I would have seen all my credits during the period of July, August and September, जिसका मैंने 923 करोड़ रुपए एक्स्ट्रा पेमेंट किया. And now I want the refund of that 923 crores, and the department was saying that the refund cannot be taken. What you can do is you can adjust this in your future output liabilities. Now please appreciate that there is also a provision in the law wherein it is said that refund of excess input tax credit can be allowed only in two situations. One is zero rated, the other one is inverted duty. Whereas the refund in case of electronic cash ledger, the refund in case of electronic cash ledger can be by way of filing GSTR 3. GSTR 3 फाइल करोगे तो आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर का रिफंड ले सकते हो. So that also was under argument in this case. And then finally, because I will not stretch this case law too far, but ये principal चीजें थी जो I have already touched upon. 7/2017, it was saying that it needs to be reconciled on periodic basis, that means monthly basis, and then within the same month, when you are filing GSTR 3, the entire reconciliation should take place and it should be rectified. That was 7/2017, which was again kept in abeyance by 26 of 2017. तो उसको चैलेंज किया था कि why it is kept in abeyance, and if it is kept in abeyance, there is no scheme in the law जहां पे आप ये बोल सकते हो कि आप एक पीरियड का कोई ऐसा मिस्टेक जो है, जो आपको नोटिस हुआ, तो आप नेक्स्ट पीरियड में या सब्सिक्वेंट पीरियड में करोगे. That was never envisaged in the scheme of the law, and since it was not within the four corners of the law or the provisions of section 37 to 43, the court have agreed to it that yes, the circular to that extent, that is circular number 26, to that extent has to be read down, and they have read down those provisions of the circular which was keeping the provisions of reconciling on monthly basis or within the period of GSTR 3. They were the entire abeyance clause was deleted, read down by the Honorable Delhi High Court. So this is sum and substance of this judgment, but it can have a long repercussion. जैसे मुझे लगता है कि अगर मुझे ये बोल दिया गया कि मैं उसी पीरियड में रिवाइज कर सकता हूं, तो ये जो 16(4) वगैरह के मुद्दे हैं तो शायद खत्म ही हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज मैं तो वो सारे पीरियड के अपने रिटर्न रिवाइज करने में लग जाऊंगा, एंड द कोर्ट हैज अलाउड मी. So this may become or this may have a longer impact. Still, lot of research has to be done on this. ये तो this was just food for thought. मैंने और गौरव जी ने सुबह बात किया कि these two are very important judgments. Let us have some session for the benefit of all. And इसी बहाने से हम भी कोविड के डेज में will read it. So that was also an intention that at least we will also read, just if we have to share this. So that was only thing. And और मैं इसको stretch नहीं करता. We'll take up few questions if we have. और अगर गौरव जी कुछ ऐड करना चाहें तो I would wish कि he should add something.
I think, Avinash bhai, you have covered everything in this. Just as a food for thought, the last lines of the judgment, para 24, we direct the respondent that on filing of the rectified form 3B, shall within a period of 2 weeks verify the claim made therein and give effect to same once verified. Now, what is the claim being made by Bharti Airtel? It will be the claim of ITC of that particular
Correct.
period, and refund will be a different application. It is not through 3B.
Absolutely.
3B can never give a refund. What exactly will happen after, even after the judgment? I'm into a bit of a dilemma, because आपने credit ले लिया तो वो carry forward होगा या आप अपना refund वहाँ पे show करेंगे? That is one. Number two, जो आपने अभी अविनाश भाई कहा, have we entered into a regime of revising the returns? So what will happen? We will have two set of returns, one on the portal, one on manual. So there
and the
is
most unfortunate part will be that manual returns once filed will not have any record with the electronic media. तो वो जो
नहीं but
नोटिस आएंगे वो तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया से आएंगे, जबकि हमने एनुअल में कुछ और दिखाया हुआ होगा।
exactly, and more importantly, there will be a total, I would say, unreconciled gaps between what is being filed in the returns with vis-a-vis the revised return. Reason being, कहीं पे कैश रिफंड्स निकल रहे होंगे जिसके लिए अगेन लिमिटेशंस आएंगी, कहीं पे डिमांड्स निकल रही हैं, क्यों वहां पर वो बैलेंस कैरी फॉरवर्ड करने का कोई
करेक्ट,
मैकेनिज्म है ही नहीं. सो
बिल्कुल।
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में वो अमाउंट्स जाएंगी कैसे? So there are things which are to be thought through very seriously by government. 3B had a life, as you said in the beginning. It was a stopgap arrangement. It had a small life. Shell life was very small, but it has extended beyond what it could have been put to use. So वो मशीनरी जो है वो रिविजिट करने का टाइम मेरे ख्याल से एक बहुत सीरियसली एक कंप्लीट फॉर्म, जहाँ पे
करेक्ट,
रिवीजन की ऑप्शन, जहाँ पे करेक्शन की ऑप्शन. We are not living, yes, we have 33 crores gods in this country, but then we have a population of 133 crores. So we have to live with that ki people make mistake, they are not gods,
प्लस
and they should
इवन
be
इवन
given
देयर शुड,
every,
नहीं, इवन
they
देयर
should
शुड
be
बी,
given opportunity.
correct, and even there should be the option to claim refund of electronic cash ledger excess in electronic cash ledger in the 3B form. If they are saying that this
Exactly.
3B is a return, तो वो 3B जो आपने सेक्शन 38 39 में बोला है कि वो आपको इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर का एक्सेस बैलेंस वही रिफंड आप ले सकते हो. There will be two options, either to carry it forward or to take refund. Then I should be given that
I
option in
was
return 39 only.
the most positive thing, the most positive form I've ever seen is PMT09. अपना क्रेडिट बैलेंस, अपना कैश बैलेंस कहीं का कहीं पे ले जाइए. I can tell you
Correct.
it will unlock a lot of amount,
Sure.
and this will help in realizing the amounts which were liabilities to the government. Now they will be converted into their revenue. Similarly, any balance which is outstanding to cash ledger, it should be a simple click. जैसे आज की डेट में हम स्टॉक ब्रोकर्स के साथ, हम थर्ड पार्टीज के साथ करते हैं कि हमने उनके पास कोई बैलेंस रखा है, that can be taken out. But the only reason which should be stopped, because government is not a private entity, the only thing which can stop the withdrawal is अगर कोई decided demand, I am underlining the word decided demand pending है, which can be a self assessed demand or a demand by an order. अगर वो
Correct.
assessee के against pending है, तो वो आपका जब तक वो नहीं पे होता आपको कैश विड्रॉल नहीं करने दिया जाना चाहिए. Apart from these two things, there should not be any stage वहां पे
Restriction.
कैश लेजर को restrict करने का कोई भी point बनता. तो चलो सर, with these words, on behalf of
I think
Avinash bhai and हाँ please,
let me ask whether there are any queries.
sorry.
There
Shalin,
are multiple queries. बहुत सारी
हाँ,
queries आई है.
then we can take up 2-3 queries, Shalin, because we have already extended our time. So 2-3 जो भी 2-3 queries हैं वो
अच्छा,
आप,
तो एक जो जो जैसे relevant लगी ज्यादा, whether such
हाँ.
tran 1 filing can be made in Maharashtra state also or only Delhi jurisdiction.
अच्छा, इसमें गौरव जी आंसर करें, एड्रेस दें, उसके पहले मैं एक चीज कहना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज देर इज आई वुड से मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग तो नहीं बोलूंगा, बट एज पर मी दिस इज माय व्यू दैट रिट पिटिशन इज 1-to-1. जब आपकी एडवांस रूलिंग होती है ना, इट इज इक्विवेलेंट, आई वुड से इट इज इक्विवेलेंट, 1-to-1 होता है. आपने अगर रिट पिटिशन डाला और आपको अगर एक फेवर में जजमेंट मिला, इट इज एप्लीकेबल एंड रिस्ट्रिक्टेड और लिमिटेड ओनली टू यू. बट इफ द फैक्ट्स एंड सर्कमस्टेंसेज आर सेम, देन यू कैन टेक इनटू कॉग्निजेंस. तब आप उसको एक प्रेसिडेंस बना सकते हैं, रेशियो बना सकते हैं और उसको यूज कर सकते हैं, बट द ऑफिसर इज नॉट बाउंड टू फॉलो दैट. दिस व्हाट आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड. तो अब गौरव जी ऐड करें.
I am with you brother on that, and having said so what you have just said, मैं सिर्फ यही कहूंगा कि अगर आपके facts and circumstances same हैं, it's give you a leeway, a very safe leeway to file another writ, take the same mandamus from the court,
Yes,
and
correct.
give it to your jurisdictional officer so that he can effect it. That is all.
So next question is, in
And
one of
sorry,
my client
more
case,
importantly,
yes sir.
in this particular case, there is a direction. There is not a law which is struck off. Had it
Correct.
been the rule would have been held as a ultra vires, then you can say it would have been applicable to all. But here there is an instruction which is coming. Please, Shalinji, please.
Yes sir, next question is, in one of my client case, tran 1 successfully filed wherein stock of goods not supported by invoices filed in table 7D as rule 117 sub 4. Subsequently, tran 2 was filed for July 17 to September 17 only. So in this case, can the taxpayer have option to apply the said ruling and file Tran 2 for remaining months, October 17 to December 17, and taxpayer can avail ITC for transfer transition period now?
नहीं, सॉरी, थोड़ा सा गैप है क्वेरी में. इन्होंने ट्रान 1 फाइल कर दिया या नहीं करा?
ट्रान 1 फाइल कर दिया. ट्रान 2 जो फाइल करना था वो उन्होंने जुलाई से सितंबर का ही किया, अक्टूबर से दिसंबर का नहीं किया है.
पर ट्रान 1 में तो इन्होंने अपना क्लेम डाल दिया ना पूरा.
ट्रान 1 में
सर,
पूरा क्लेम
ट्रान
डाल
2
दिया, बट ट्रान 2 उनका फाइल करना रह गया है.
राइट. सो उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, टू माय हम्बल ओपिनियन. अविनाश भाई कैन ऐड टू दैट बिकॉज योर
Yeah,
क्लेम was again on the stock. The judgment will come to your rescue. More importantly, you have made your claim also, before the government in Tran 1. When you have declared that particular stock in that particular Tran 1, you have informed the government that there is a ITC on this amount or quantity of stock, and therefore that is available to you. Your limitation will not be a barrier because your claim is already with the government. It is only the quantification in terms of the sale value, which is sold between the period up to December. That is to be done by you and taken and to be taken in your electronic credit ledger. Avinash bhai, anything
Yes,
further?
the next question.
no.
The next question. सर उनका वापस कमेंट आया सुनील जी का कि ट्रान 1 ये 7D में जो डाला हुआ है क्रेडिट, वो ट्रान 2 फाइल करेंगे तभी उनको मिलेगी. तो ट्रान 2 फाइल करना रह गया है अक्टूबर टू दिसंबर, तो वो क्रेडिट कैसे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में?
इलेक्ट्रॉनिक नहीं, मैनुअल फाइल करिएगा. बट अगेन एज अविनाश भाई सेड, फर्स्ट गो फॉर अ रिट. You have to take an instruction from the honorable court that yes, this particular judgment is also applicable on you, and then only the department will be following those instructions. Yes, we can only hope कि इस particular judgment के बाद brand equity, Reliance Electric, government might come out with some sort of relaxation for filing of Tran 1 up to 30th of June, क्योंकि अब window बहुत छोटी बच गई है, till 30th of June. So maybe some relief we can expect from government. Let us see, wait and watch. But please do make your claim. If no relaxation comes from the government, manually before your jurisdictional officer, and also go for a writ before the Honorable Jurisdictional High Court. Yes, sir.
Agreed, sir. The next and the last question. The Delhi High Court judgment in case of Bharti Airtel was published yesterday and was reserved on 7 November 2019. It must not have taken the retrospective amendment dated 9 October 2019 into consideration. How would you factor this if department goes in appeal in this case in Supreme Court?
See, first and foremost, the department is certainly going to go before the Honorable Supreme Court against this judgment. That is very clear. Secondly, जो retrospective amendment था 9th October का, it was nowhere stating anything about this 26 or by 26. 26 by 26 इसमें impugned circular था, जिसके basis पे इसको challenge किया गया, and the challenge was in 2018, in January 2018. जब उन्होंने ट्राई किया और उसके बाद भी डिपार्टमेंट से कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, then they have filed this petition. So it has no relation with 9/2019 because that has amended 61(5) wherein they have made 61(5) GSTR 3B as a return. So I don't think that there is any relation to that. तो retrospective amendment से मुझे नहीं लगता इसमें कोई फर्क पड़ेगा because that is more specifically inclined towards or focusing towards the circular number 26, which is keeping the circular number 7/7, that paragraph number 3 in abeyance. So that was the main issue. So we need to understand the issue कि क्या issue उसमें address किया गया है.
श्योर सर, तो अभी सेशन को क्लोज करते हैं क्योंकि क्वेरीज
I
तो और
think
भी बहुत सारी आती जा रही है.
On
but
behalf
we are
of
already doing query session. We are already doing query sessions on Star, so we'll take up these queries while doing
that is
that.
what.
We'll take up those
So
queries.
the society is doing the query session every week. Society for Text Analysis and Research. So anybody who has this query can put up those queries on those query session. I, on behalf of the entire Society for Text Analysis and Research and Avinash Bhai, and definitely Shalinji, I thank each and every one of the viewers for their patient listening. It had been a nice, small, short journey with all of you to examine what happened yesterday And yes, there is a long road to go ahead in terms of understanding this new law, and there'll be new surprises which will come up in the coming days before us. But yes, do not merely look the law as arithmetic calculation. There are legal provisions which yet to need to be deciphered before the courts. So please take out all those issues. We all are learners, and this particular journey of learning should continue in the coming days. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Avinash bhai.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.